Okay, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Tony Lee from Medipost. I'm the global president for Medipost based in Korea. I'm the co-CEO also for our U.S. entity, wholly owned subsidiary based out of Boston, Medipost INC, and as well as our Japanese entity in Tokyo called Evastem. Forward-looking statement. So first, before I start, I would like to thank the organizers and friends at ARM for inviting us to this opportunity today. So we are actually doing a business in the field of cold blood banking as well as therapeutics development out of Korea. Founded in 2000, we are currently listed on Kosdaq, publicly traded. One area of business that we do is a brand name Celltree. This is a family private cold blood banking business where we bank over 20,000 units from newborn babies every year within Korea, and that is for potential use of HSCT. The other side of business we're doing is commercializing allogenic cold blood-derived MSC products, and one product that's been on the market since 2012 is a product called Cardistem. We manufacture this at our own GMP facility, 30,000 square feet, a floor space based in Seoul, Korea. We're also doing clinical development in global markets, focusing in U.S., where our U.S. entities are pushing for a phase 3 to begin next year, as well as in Japan for the same product. We're doing a phase 3 trial as we speak right now with Evastem, which is a Japanese subsidiary. Recently, about a year ago, we've acquired a stake in Omnia Bio, which is a CDMO entity based in Toronto, Canada, for our North American manufacturing purposes. So in the therapeutics pipeline of MSCs as well as the immune cells, all derived from a molecule called blood. The first generation products we've developed and commercialized Cardistem. This is the topic that I'm going to give you in more detail. The other two clinical stage assets called Pneumostem. This is for prematurely born babies' lung indication called bronchopulmonary dysplasia, or BPD, as well as Neurostem, a phase 2 stage asset for treating Alzheimer's disease. This is all using umbilical cord blood-derived MSCs. The second generation platform we call SMUP. This is really a subset of cord blood-derived MSCs. They're more potent and exposed to a culture methods and condition utilizing hypoxic condition and various culture methods that we proprietarily developed. And SMUP-IA is an intraarticular injectable product, a phase 2 stage, and there's various other programs that are preclinical stage, including gene-modified MSC assets. On the immune cell side, we also have cold blood-derived regulatory T cell pipelines, as well as NK cells. So this is really coming back to our MSC pipeline. Our products, the knee-OA, a target indication. Cardistem is a surgically administered MSCs for late-stage OA patients, commercialized and approved in Korea. U.S. phase 3 ready to begin next year. Japan, we are doing a pivotal single phase 3 study, which started end of last year. And SMUP-IA, this is an injectable for early-stage OA. I'll give you some more details later. Is a phase 2 completed, waiting for readout in Korea after phase 1, first in human, also completed in Korea. Down in the middle there, ankle OA. So this is our commercialized product, Cardistem, approved for knee OA. We've conducted a phase 3 trial, 100 patients in Korean market who suffers from cartilage defects in the ankle joint, and that data after 1 year follow-up just came in. So we will be widening our indication to add that label on our Cardistem product. And the BPD is prematurely born babies' lung indication. This is done phase 1, 2, both in Korea as well as in the US. So the Cardistem product, this is our flagship product. Approved indication in Korea is treating knee cartilage defects, including degenerative osteoarthritis. And you can see in the picture that's a real product that's being released in Korea. Active ingredient is human umbilical cord blood MSCs on the small vial on the right-hand side. That contains 7.5 million cells, stable between 4 to 20 degrees Celsius. A fairly short shelf life, 48 hours, because we release live cells from our frozen drug substance stock. And the other component with blue cap bottle is a freeze-dried sodium hyaluronate, 60 milligrams. That gets mixed together into hydrogel before implantation surgically. And the dosing of these cells combined together with the HA as an hydrogel goes by the size of the defect to be treated. To 2 to 3 square centimeters, you need 1 dose, 3 to 6, 2 doses, 6 to 9, 3 doses per knee. And the surgical implantation of this product is like so here. You expose the patient's knee joint and then really trim the edges of the cartilage defect, and then surgical drilling drilling is done like in panel 2, or using a fairly large drill bit, and really to create the space and also cause bone marrow bleeding. And the cell plus HA mixture, the hydrogel, is actually implanted like so in panel 4. And then what's left is paste on top, and these are very viscous, thick HA, malleable, and they don't dribble away, so you don't need any glue or membrane on top. They'll sit there, and then the wound is closed. And after a year, this is phase 3 trial patient. You can see the restored cartilage where the red arrows are, and that's after the drilling and implantation. And really, it really differs our product in a unique ROA, whereby we are implanting the cells in the subchondral bone space following drilling. That does two things. They keep the cells in place. These are undifferentiated cells, RMSCs, and then they'll come in contact and signaling the bone marrow progenitor stem cells from patients' own bone marrow as they come up, and then they'll signal them, turn into a cartilage-making cells as well as bone-making cells. So this is the main mechanism of action. Really 3 pillars here. Our cells, once implanted, they inhibit a degradation of cartilage matrix, as well as promoting chondrogenesis, especially to those progenitors coming out from the patient's own endogenous bone marrow, as well as very strong and effective anti-inflammatory effects. This is all to do with paracrine cytokines, as we all know. But the most important point here is that CARDISTEM is implanted in combination with marrow drilling, thereby stimulating the bone marrow stem cells, and it's instigating a natural endogenous regeneration response of the patients. And that is really important because you see on this red graphs, which is patients with OA by age in Korean market, very similar looking graph across the world, whereby the patients with ages between 50 to 70, roughly, where there's between the 2 arrows, you have some options for microfracture for younger patients, and older patients can get knee replacement or total knee arthroplasty or partial. In the middle, where the majority, the bulk of the patients are suffering from knee OA, there's actually no care available or option that these patients can take. So what we've done in phase 3 trial in Korea is that we deliberately did not impose any age limit on these subjects. And you can see on the right-hand side, the blue bars indicate the number of subjects and their ages of our phase 3 trial. And as reflected in the market, we actually recruited the majority of those patients in that needed age group of 50 to 70. And then we randomized them and then did microfracture on only, which is bone marrow stimulation. And then on the treatment group, we added our drilling, marrow stimulation, and implantation of our cells. And here are the results. You can see the regeneration happening there. The red bars are a CARDISTEM group where you can see everybody in age group, with the exception of one patient in that the middle age group failed to regenerate, but everybody else had actually regeneration from a full thickness cartilage, which is like bare bone stage, to a cartilage restoration is confirmed in all age groups of patients. And more importantly, when we follow these patients up against microfracture control patients, which only 60 to 70% of them regenerate on the gray bars in the middle, 3 to 5 year follow-up data shows that the pain and function, the decrease in score is better in this case on the right-hand side. The blue line represents CARDISTEM treated patients. Their increase in pain is actually sustained up to 3 to 5 years following a single implantation, whereas microfracture, the red line on the right-hand side graph, shows that the pain level goes back to the basal level. And since the launch in 2012, that was the phase 3 data that led us to approval in Korea. This is actually available within South Korea, some 600 plus clinics and hospitals. So far, we treat over 27,000 accumulated number of patients since 2012 as of last quarter. And the doses, because some patients may have received more than one, is over 30,000 doses that we've released so far. And upon approval and market launch, we've done 626 patient post-market surveillance, and to this date, all the commercial patients, we have not received any significant adverse event reported to this date. And right now, per annum, we are releasing about 4,500 to 5,000 doses of this product every year out of Korea. So in the history of this is Korea phase 1-2, that's the first in human patients with 7-year follow-ups, and published 2017, that publication there, and then followed by the phase 3 randomized control study. Some of the data I've shown you, that's with 5-year follow-up data. It's all been published. And that led to an approval 2012. We're on the market since with some PMS, no serious adverse events. And then US, we've actually opened an IND in 2014, phase 1-2, 12-patient safety study in the US has been completed and published. And right now we have completed our FDA discussion based on our Korean data and market experience. We are moving to phase 3 pivotal and confirmatory studies. which will begin end of next year, early part of 25. In Japan, as I mentioned earlier, we've started 130 patients, single pivotal study, phase 3. For full approval, we have completed about 50% of our patients already, and that's in progress. In addition, I think this is a really important piece for us is that Korean real-world evidence generation. This is really out of the some 27,000 patients treated in the Korean market. We're actually calling some of those patients back, and after their first year, third year, 5, 7 years after treatment, and we're going to assess them with the MRI, compare them with the baseline MRI pre-op, and then we compare what happened in the durability and also the course of the patients, for example, converting into any other therapy following our treatment, if so, what year. And so we're doing that, targeting about 1,000 patients, real-world data. That collection just beginning actually this month. In the next 2 to 3 years, we'll be completing that out of Korea, which we intend to use for our markets in US and Japan. So some publications, clinical, left-hand side, 1 to 3, those are the clinical trial publications, but I just want to highlight 4 through to 16 or 14, whatnot. Those numbers of publications are coming out of the field. Our users, orthopedic surgeons within Korea, are publishing our case studies using our product, some preclinical publications there as well. Our therapeutic area really focuses really strongly at this point with osteoarthritis, and the CARDISTEM, as you can see on this left-hand, on the middle column there, we're really targeting moderate to severe level or late-stage OA patients who require surgical intervention. By doing a single surgery, we can really regenerate cartilage. That's a really clinical benefit, and also restore function, and then pain relief as well. And that is to delay the time point or even eliminate the need of the TKR for these patients. And then obviously the stages of development I mentioned to you. On the right-hand side, the SMUPIA, this is code name that utilizes our second-generation manufacturing platform, more potent cells. They're cultured in a more potent way to make their functionality even increase and higher. It's an intraarticular injection product. It delays the cartilage degeneration process as demonstrated in large animal models, as well as it slows down the total disease progression of OA, and therefore by delaying surgical intervention timing, but at the same time the significant pain relief. And really the mechanism of action for the SMUPIA is really kind of in the, again, threefold. You're doing an anti-inflammatory that's a strong, right off the bat effect of these cells, but also they inhibit cartilage degradation. They inhibit, they're preventing cell death, chondrocyte cell death, as well as promoting chondrogenesis endogenously. But in a clinical proof of concept, this is phase 1 study using patients with low, middle, high dose of this cell injection. As you can see, the score of the pain is coming down up to 50 weeks, and it looks to be sustained. So we're just reading out first quarter next year of the phase 2 double-blind randomized control study of this product in Korean subjects. So in terms of our future plans and overall, mainly in the US and Japan, CARDISTEM is really late-stage OA patients. And then as I mentioned, to US phase 3 trial, the black bar at the top of it will continue from 24 to 28 or so, and then FDA approval there. At the bottom of this Japanese phase 3 trial, which is already started, our anticipated approval submission will be 26, 27 timing. Hopefully we can get that market approval in Japan a few years before US. In the middle, that blue bar represents the Korean RWE study. We're collecting 1,000 patient data from Korea, which will give us a long-term and durability information about the product, which we plan to utilize in all jurisdictions and moving forward, both for regulatory as well as market access. SMUPIA injectable product, as I said, this is preventing the disease progression that you get to that point is severe enough to contemplate for surgical intervention, but these patients are early stage, so can we do to prevent them to going worse and take away the pain? So this is also at phase 2, Korea. After that, we'll have an FDA meeting, another one. We've already had a pre-IND. Hopefully we'll go into late-stage clinical trials within the US, and hopefully that'll get to market approval as well. So just on the manufacturing side, quickly, this just numbers show how big of a market potential that NeoA has in the US, and really simply put, there are some metrics and numbers here, but our key message here is that we're potentially looking at about 20 to 25 times bigger market in terms of manufacturing needs, just to cover in the US market, applying our adoption rate that we experienced in Korea at year 4 post-launch. And to accommodate that large market and need for manufacturing, Last year, we've actually made an investment to Omnia Bio, which is CDMO entity out of Toronto, Canada, some $80 million. That has a really excellent PD and processing optimization laboratory in collaboration with CCRM and also Cytiva and the manufacturing facility as they are operating in Toronto downtown. There's CAT-CT and the CCVP. Now we are actually in the expansion phase. Construction is well underway for our phase 3 and commercial manufacturing location, which is 1 hour south of Toronto, in a city called Hamilton, and that'll actually have 15 to 20 clean rooms, 100,000 square feet. So, and then also the staffing to accommodate and operate that facility, which will operate in parallel to our previous 2 sites in Toronto. So this large facility will cater for our needs for phase 3 as well as commercial manufacturing, but we also welcome any manufacturing partnership and clients for this facility as well. So here's my contact details, and if you need more information, please do not hesitate to contact me. Thank you so much.